what better gun to run a suppressor on than an operator who thrives in being quiet? You can touch on Nook, but let's just round out the bans before we get on in. Amaru bans second, Echo, and Valkyrie will be all taken off of the board.
Yeah, so of course, big information game here. The Nook sneaks around, Amaru gets in really fast to the building. That allows the attackers to get a fast entry and get a foothold somewhere on the map. That's why she's banned off the board. Also banned in the previous map between DC and Astralis. And then of course, Valkyrie Echo is information in different ways, but essentially you can do so many verticality plays on this map of theme park with C4s. You can go for flanks, etc. It might just be very aggressive on the roam. So with the information operators being gone, yet it's not going to be as enabled by the defenders. Now, there's like 4 operators on attack right now that are very, very big for the game, right? One is gone right now, that's the Nook. Then you have Dokkaebi, you have Ossa, and you have Lion. That's the big 4 because, as you mentioned, Parker, they bring so much utility, they have strong primary gadgets, they have strong weapons, they have zoom scopes, they got it all. Mirage in this opening round is opting for the Lion approach with the DMR, which I spoke to Sam about this, Stokes, and we were like, well, you might play Lion a lot, but do you bring the DMR or do you bring the AR, so to speak? And Kento going for the first option here.
Seeing the DMR is also quite common when watching APAC play this operator. And the same with Twitch. It's actually quite surprising to see teams forego the fire rate of the F2 that comes in Twitch's hands to go with the 417 DMR instead. Either way, you'll see a lot of suppressors. You won't see as many LMGs. You likely won't see much Finka at all. These are some pretty big changes that occurred in the last season's patches that just came out. Grim is also the new operator who is available to be played.
Yep.
A great anti-flank watch operator, as you want to say, but right now does not seem to have a very firm place in the meta. First minute off of the clock. Some players from Mirage have made it into the building, but right now still very firmly in the discovery phase.
Typically right now, most attacking teams want to opt for an early advantage. That's why the Lion and Dokkaebi are so good, because you can try and use your utility early. You know, the Lion scan, the Dokkaebi phone call, try and get that opening kill and play that 5 versus 4 round with the advantage. Right now, Mirage taking a slow approach towards the building. Again, making sure that nobody falls early. 3 members outside Cafe, 1 member down below, and TSM, they recognize they can play the waiting game because Mirage have to make all the right moves, all the first moves as well, and there's only 1 set of grenades on this roster right now. That's Dexter on the sledge. You can't just toss these around like cookies anymore because they're so rare.
Only 4 operators have access to that nade. First kill of the matchup goes to Achieved. Kento gets a little bit too aggressive on those stairs by Arcade. He's refragged by Melted. Down goes Mo to Gasher. The 2 rookies getting in on it, and another for Merc as it's Melted to fall. TSM doing good work. Only 1 kill so far for Merc, and he and Gasher are the 2 on the board. Good eyes to go out, maybe give a little bit more coverage with a minute to go. Mirage staring down a 2v4. And not a ton of utility left to work with. No grenades available, no throwables, just the Rotero drones from Benji, one of which will be piloted in towards Arcade. Intended target unknown at the moment. Attackers recover. Engagement by Merc over by the door to Arcade, and now it's Benji up next. A nice shot onto Snake, and a warm welcome to this level of play. Another from Benji onto Bolo. They can't out-peek him this time. Still at the top of Arcade, killed 10 seconds off of the clock. Dexter will open things up, and Merc decides to swing. There's a second, and a flick from Merc. 3 kills, all of which coming in the final moments for TSM. The first started off the final stage of round number 1, and TSM gets on the board first.
And it's a stronghold of a defense, right? Because TSM didn't really do anything. They set up their shields, set up their keeper barriers, and they just held their ground, and they traded out better. For the side of Mirage, they still had 2 Rotero drones left on the floors when they went for that execute with the lost 3 members, and the shield where Gasher was playing on top Arcade was still alive. So arguably a few more things could have been done, because you see right here, Gasher's position is crucial for TSM. It shut down what was going to be the opening force for Mirage, and with that, they could not find any footing. It was Merc with a good trade, Snake as well, playing on that yellow stairs. In case anybody would be flanking, he had that covered as well. Theme park defense is, of course, extremely favored on this map in theory, but it all comes down to execution for both teams. I'll be honest, but maybe.
I'm gonna go on a limb here, and I'm gonna say this. Take it from somebody who used to work in the service industry as a server/bartender.
Oh.
Take it from me. If you're listening to me, this is sage advice for you, okay? Every time you go out to eat, it's always somebody's birthday. Because no restaurants are checking IDs. If you tell me it's your birthday, I'm probably going to give you something free.
Okay. So you're just ripping people off?
Just, I mean, yeah.
Okay. I know a certain someone who would do that quite frequently at Invite, usually.
Troy. Yeah, Troy.
Yeah.
It was always Troy's birthday. It's funny, Troy's birthday always fell around Invitational, isn't it?
Yeah.
So strange.
At a restaurant.
It didn't even matter, it didn't even matter when Invitational was. It was always his birthday. It's crazy. It's a very loose concept, I suppose. Never once would I be like, oh, it's your birthday. Yeah, for sure. Let me give you a complimentary dessert. And also, I need to check your ID. Nobody's doing that. Anyway, we're back in the action here. A lengthy break, but we hope that it was worth it. Back on Theme Park, back with TSM and Mirage. TSM took round number 1, and then they hit the pause button.
Yep, that they did. We're back here in round number 2. We see both the Dokkaebi and the Osa being brought out from Mirage, so a different operator choice in the first round here. Merc getting very aggressive. Despite those keeper barriers still being in his pocket as they recharge throughout the round, he's choosing to opt for an early start and slowing down Mirage on their entry points.
Over by Cash, as that's one of the entry points that will get you much closer to the bomb site that is located in Office and Initiation.
Oh.
Dexter has fallen off of the building. Finka back in action. Finka's pick rate significantly lower than where it was in times before. Also, the LMG not really as controllable as it used to be. So guess what? If you're running a Zofia, which Melted is, and you're running a Finka, which Kento is, you're going to be running their assault rifles, the Spear for Kento, and that AK variant for Zofia. Merc, he got 3 kills in the previous round. Won't be able to do too much. The stead that he'd created at the top of Dragon Stairs, all for naught as he gets picked off with half of the round to go. Logic bombs go out too, and TSM will find a way to get out of the actual bomb site as the advance from Mirage gets ever near.
Yeah, no real help there from Merc. No trade goes out. No jam, I don't think, on that wall towards the bomb site. That means Bolo's now forced back to top white, but this top yellow rather. But this Osa now enabling Mirage to have these long lines of sight, some cover as well, and she has one more in the pocket that they can use to approach the bomb site and get down that diffuser later on. But first, they have a minute to work with. Cameras get hacked, and this is the thing, when Dokkaebi's on the board, you want to have someone nearby a dead body to shoot down that camera foe, but here we go into the bomb site.
Kento's in there like swimwear. Gasher and Bolo come out ahead with the kills, swinging the advantage in favor of TSM. Behind these Talon shields, Mirage has a little bit more coverage, but they have to move past them as they continue their advance towards the bomb site. Benji can pick them back up, but I don't know if he's going to have time as there's very little still remaining into the round. A stack up over by Bathroom as both Mo and Benji are near each other. There's flashes from Dexter to get tossed on out. Bolo has the cross stuck inside of the vault, and he could gun down anybody from Mirage who ends up in that direction. Snake falls. More will be on the shoulders of Bolo, with Achieve not too far off. Watching the bomb site from the hallway. Gasher holding down B. Bolo inside of A. Mo gets the better of him. Inside with safety, diffuser in hand, it's Benji to cover in a 1v2, but Mo actually gets up off of the plant, and Benji gets the final kill before the diffuser can go down. A call from the IGL himself to take the fight rather than play the objective works out well, and Mirage answers back with a round of their own.
It's an important round because Mirage, they're in the driver's seat with that opening kill onto Merc, and then they slowed down, they lost some members, and it looked like it was about to be pretty rough for them. They could not clear Bolo inside that vault position, but then the flashbang came out, Bolo chose to swing aggressively and give up the crossfire that was established with Chiefs on top yellow stairs, and that got them back into the round. 1-1 tied up now as we enter the third round, and for the first time we'll see the Armory Throne defense, where most teams typically will start the defensive side because most teams tend to prefer this bomb side. You can really work the roam game here. Go up top, reinforce the hatches Frost is. You can play on both the cash side of things, the cafe side of things, the arcade side of things, and once you clear out the top floors on attacker, well, the defenders can go down a floor and play inside of, laps and play inside of barrels, and of course the bomb site. So this bomb site in particular speaks to the entirety of the map, unlike no other. It's common here that we see Jackal being brought out. That's not going to be chosen for Mirage. So we're going to stick with that Finka and stay aggressive. The healing did wonders in that previous round. Dexter, who fell off the building early on, was almost back to full HP by the end of the round. And that was well needed for him because he ended up getting some important value on the board with the entry and the kill.
Well, back into the action. Finka on the board yet again. Snake playing over by Gong to try and ward off any of the attackers nearby. Repel sounds going out. Snake can play off of this, but he doesn't know if there's going to be a set of eyes watching the main doorway. This will be a gamble for Snake, but if he times it successfully, he could easily cut one of these players of Mirage down. But a passiveness that will allow Lesion to persist longer, continue to build up those goo mines, and do more damage through the mid to late rounds. It's a gamble that TSM is making. Whether it was a call by their leadership or Snake himself, it seems to be paying some dividends.
Yeah, Ninja comes in, but it's Bolo who wins the fight there. But a good trade from Mo back onto Snake means it's a 4 versus 4. But Kento, he's not done just yet. He finds Bolo up above on the box. It means Mirage once again has the man advantage 4 versus 3. Got a bit of map control here, but there's still roamers from TSM's side looking to get aggressive and try and get that back.
I don't know what kind of criteria you use in particular, Nick, for opening duels, but by my count, rounds 1 and 3 were almost immediate trades, no team gaining the upper hand, whereas in round 2, Mirage had a bit of breathing room after they got that early pick off of Merc. So again, while TSM does technically get that first kill, it's not for that much longer, and there's really nothing gained in terms of a numbers advantage. You can argue who is more valuable, Bolo on Vigil or Melted on Zofia, and that's something for us to discuss, but either way, it doesn't really give them all that much. Mirage still, though, having the upper hand as Snake was picked off inside of Gong. An answer back from TSM is Kento, no more. Gasher a kill. A debut for Gasher that seems to be going quite well, as he's now picked up his 3rd kill on his very first match at this level.
Yeah, mind you, Post got that 1.5x now, which seems to be a favor. Mo down on the ground, injured no longer. Gash C4 also spent in that round. 1 C4 left in pocket of Merc, who's off the bomb side.
Now, Roni's not going to have a lot of munition to deal with. He falls off after shooting a number of bullets down towards Benji as he retrieves Mo. Gets the ace back up off of the ground. Limited intel, but Gasher's been spotted out by Dexter. Merc gets the bait off of it. A 4th kill for Merc onto the board. And Gasher is still retrievable, but Benji in this position, no DMR in hand. So a lot more bullets to go forward with, and Benji picks up 2. Dexter credited with the final kill because of the down. But boy, oh boy, what plays from Mirage. They take the lead 2-1.
Mirage are now finding and winning those gunfights, but TSM there arguably playing a bit too aggressive. There is no real reason for Merc to swing split door towards the breach because, well, your teammates is inside of armory. He can see the walk in deep. He can cover that plant. You still got a C4 in your pocket. You got options to play with. You don't have to swing for information in that particular instance, and that's going to cost you because Mirage, they were ready for it, they read it, and they won the fight when it mattered the most. TSM will go back where things started, where they found their 1 victory of success so far, and let's just bring it up one final time in this matchup. TSM back on stage 1 played this map 3 times. They lost it all 3 of those times. One of those 3 times was against the Orc of Mirage, although being a different roster from both teams. TSM have something to prove on the theme park, because if they lose this time again, you can argue that they just need to put this in the trash can and never show it ever again, because it doesn't work for them. That means that their map pool gets significantly weaker, other teams will have no issue going to the theme park against them, and TSM themselves will have no confidence going back here in the future either. So there's a lot on the line of your TSM right now because of the map that you're playing on, whereas Mirage, I think it was Jesse who said it, or Jacob, they got nothing to lose. They've gotten really terrible placements in stage 1 and stage 2. They're here to play, to improve, to have fun, to learn, and just play with no pressure because it can only really get better or equal to previous stage performances.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to question the wisdom of coming back here. I don't think it's fair to talk about this TSM team like we did previously. There is a huge difference between this squad and the World Championship winning squad of TSM that we saw in Sweden back in February. Not just that, even if the roster has stayed the same, the meta is so profoundly different at this moment than what was played under back in those conditions that teams sometimes just fall off because you can't play the same operators. You know, you can talk extensively about how Finka was a crutch operator and Zofia on LMG was a crutch operator and all of that, and now it's exposing all of the frauds. But there is a real deal when it comes to the meta changing and teams just not being as quick to adapt. So Theme Park 4 months ago, Theme Park 8 months ago, wildly different from Theme Park today for both of these squads, let alone TSM. And Bolo ends up getting the first kill onto Kento, even though Melted had gotten it down and is still holding his position up by Dragon. Yet again, a very quick trade. No team gaining a sizable advantage. E1D tossed out by Mirage in hopes of capitalizing off of Bolo, but can't be done. Half of the round done, off the board, and it leaves us in a 4v4.
That it does. And it's again TSM aggressive but slowly falling backwards here. The pressure mounts towards them, and when they start losing Merc on that early aggressive playstyle that he's playing right now, that's normally key that says, alright guys, let's fall back. If Merc stays alive, we stay aggressive with him, we support him, but he's our first line of defense in all of these rounds. Only downside is Merc is playing an operator that's a rechargeable gadget. Previous round, it was Asami, you get the Q barriers throughout the round. This round, it's Wamai, same story. You want to try and stay alive, ideally, on this particular operator, because you get more value the longer you survive for. That's not the case, so you're gonna play without the magnets, no Jaeger on the board. Any nades that are remaining, one from Dexter, could be lethal at that, as nothing can quite stop it.
Bolo's moved off of his position. The last time we saw a defense from TSM, we were much more nestled inside of the bomb site. But Cafe has not been the focus for Mirage. Instead, they decided that they'd hit the bomb site from the back. Office and initiation have been opened up. Office in particular, where Mirage is choosing to make their main push come from. EE1D goes off, and Mo will be the one to lead the charge. Walking in, but not knowing his corners. He gets spotted by two separate members of TSM. The crossfire good. Mirage looking to answer back. It's a bullet dump as it leaves Dexter in a 1v3. He's in the midst of the bomb site. He has to find the two off, and it's Bolo to be the savior of the round. Tying things back up for TSM.
Bong successful for TSM, but nothing else but that so far. 2-2 is the scoreline. And again, the bomb side is where TSM find their success. Time and time again, the crossfires really well established, trading 1-for-1 successfully and swinging 2 versus 1 in almost every single instance. Really their bread and butter so far in this matchup. When they can do it, for example here, Merc playing alone, that's when they falter. But when they can play close together, that's where they find most of the success. There's Snake playing with Bolo, Gasher trade off as well. Just left Dexter all alone at 1v2 where Bolo also found his last gunfight victoriously. Now Marathon will get another spin here. It's TSM, they're gonna try it one more time. The only difference right now, no pulls from Gasher. He's on to the Kaid instead. That's gonna help you play more passive again, as you got some wall deny either on the hatch or the wall itself. Now, mind you, when you play Kaid, normally we would see like, oh, but Thatcher's bends, okay, it's super strong. Newsflash. Thatcher's almost never banned right now throughout Stage 3 of both EUL and NAL, and even if Thatcher were to be banned, you're always going to have the possibilities of that secondary EMP impact grenade that operators like Lion can bring to the table, which Benji on the line has brought. So as long as you can find the Kite Claw with a drone and get a yellow ping out, you can always use that EMP, disable the Kite Claw, and then get the wall of the hatch opened up. Something that you couldn't do in the past, but you can now. It's obviously a wonderful change.
I don't know if a lot of teams would argue that just simply bringing those secondary EMPs are enough, and then you can bring any additional utility that denies you the Thatcher pick in the first place. Not sure. Bolo decides to leap out of a window. Mirage makes him pay for that. No capitalization from TSM. And just like we saw back in round number 2, Mirage gets the first pick, and there's no answer back from TSM. This is in stark contrast to every other round that we've seen, where TSM gets the first kill, but Mirage trades it quite fast.
No, I do agree, and I'm talking about how they can play passive now with the Kite Claws, the C4s, the Keeper barriers, but then we're playing super aggressive outside the building at the same time, so I mean, I do respect the aggression out from TSM, but if it doesn't work, it does not work, but it might just pay off, but no, Snake, he gets the kill, but it's messy.
Oh, very, very messy. Still well done, as Snake gets his very first kill in the NAL. It's taken him 5 rounds, but he still gets there. Melted the one to fall off of that. The explosives, the stuns from Zofia off of the board. That could be particularly crucial given the lineup that you've mentioned TSM has for a number of times. The Kiba barriers need to be blown up. You can't shoot through them. Yeah, you can melee them 3 times, so that means you need to get close enough to do so. And depending on the way that TSM have used all of these, and there's still 2 in the pocket of Merc, might not be something that you can do at close range. We'll have to confront that through other means.
Let's keep an eye on Gasher's last Kite Claw. Just got tossed out right now. We saw on the UI hot there. So Mo can now comfortably choose which one to open up. But actually, Gasher is picking up the claws and putting them back down, trying to keep Mirage guessing as to where they might be coming from. Dexter on the vertical above with Sledge, opening up both of the roam and the side itself. And Mo has a good read on the possible situation here from TSM. First time the shots goes out. Will it be successful? Yes, it will.
It looks like it. They've opened up one of the walls into the bomb site. It's going to force Merc to lurk in this
to an
position. Gasher down now. Mo taking matters into his own hands. What a pickup this has been from Mirage through these 5 rounds. IGLing and also holding on to that diffuser. Snake in the hot seat as some of his protection goes from above, but again, the obliviousness of Mirage is their undoing. Snake was able to take out Melted earlier, now does the same to Dexter in very similar situations. Mirage none the wiser. Benji looking the wrong way after the EE1D goes. No marks being given out, and it's a stack up on the doorway into Throne. A 3rd kill from Snake. He's on absolute fire right now. Don't discount Achieved either, coming in on the flank. Merc with 1, denying an ace to Snake. Kento the last to be found, and it's a 4K from Snake as TSM regains the lead.
It's going to feel good if you're Snake. You know, as you mentioned, Parker, he was like, what, first kill in 5 rounds, and he gets 4 on that round towards the end. That's going to feel amazing. And Mo did get that summer charge off, but Merc actually impact denied it from the side on the room inside a bathroom. And we saw that earlier aggression there from Bolo. Did not pay off, but he was mid-Claymore put down, so it could have paid off. He had the sound cue as well, most likely, but there was a cover there from his teammate. It shut down Bolo. Snake, of course, was there up the Dragon Stairs and managed to find a trade just shortly after, as Mirage had misdroned the Dragon Staircase. That's going to take us to all 4 bomb sites, but first, before we get back into the action, a drone bug will just set us back for a moment as we will rehost the server and get right back into it.
Impressive play by him. I think all of the rookies, honestly, have shown up quite well. Unfortunately, with the rehost, we do lose all of the statistics, so if you're wondering, whether you're looking at the stats on SiegeGG or those that get published over the social media, you're going to have to just hope that they update you, because I don't remember the exact stats of every single one of these players in this lobby. I can tell you right now that Mo was leading the way on his team, or at least was in competition at the top. It was Merc and Snake who were actually at the top of TSM. Gasher also picked up a couple very important kills. I think he had 3 before the rehost set in. But that 4K from Snake ultimately masking what has been an unimpactful round in terms of, or an unimpactful first half from Snake, as it took him up until that 5th round, as you mentioned, to get those kills. But a 4K, 4K is a 4K.
4K is a 4K.
4K is a 4K. So either way, still able to climb back atop the standings. Final round of defense for TSM. They've already got an early pick, and it's the star pickup of Mirage. Mo gunned down. That's the main and only hard breach for Mirage. No backup secondary hard breach. No backup secondary hard breacher brought either.
Normally that would be, you know, round in flames, but for the lab bomb set that TSM is defending right now, honestly, you're not going to be needing a hard breach necessarily unless you're going for a particular attack where you want to breach certain walls, for example, downstairs Namri. That's not what Mirage are opting for right now. That could either be an adaptation or just their initial plan. They might be A-okay, but the bigger issue right now is you're playing 4 versus 5, which means you have 1 less gun. Mo, they're all dead.
Oh, what's happening here? Mirage walks in, decides it's a brawl, and suddenly it's a 3v3 in the span of 2 seconds.
They just dropped the hatch.
Almost half of the server is cleared out. Still, Mirage, worse for wear. They do have a Finka on the board. We are seeing an extensive amount of Finka brought out by Mirage, and it means that those 2 adrenal surges will allow the limited HP of Mirage to continue to go back up. EE1D is hit. TSM had lost another player, leaving just Achieved and Gasher. Now it's Achieved to fire back. Kento, his target, done well, and Achieved will hit the deck. Very limited HP for Achieved. Everybody in this server seemingly taking their lumps at this point, and there's still half the round to go.
So I believe 3 members of Mirage hot dropped the hatch. There's a member of TSM right below the hatch. They shot at each other. Everyone basically took a ton of damage. Of course, the Finger adrenal surges healed back up the attackers a bit. But as you can tell, everyone died, but the 4 last remaining 2v2 right now with a minute on the clock. Lion still on the board, and so is Sophia. And in on the bomb site, we will just go.
Oh my, now Benji the one under fire. Where's Melted to help out? He's got the diffuser now. Achieved lurks off of the bomb site. Very limited HP, so Achieved again cannot engage the way he wants. Gasher, a beautiful shot onto Melted. Both Achieved and Gasher will line up, sync up with one another. Now it's incumbent upon Benji to do this. I don't know if he saw the Malusi. A warning shot, maybe. Seeking the safety of a portion of Lab. Diffuser going down. No call has been made. It's a slow creep back to the bomb site. Did this diffuser just go down under the noses of TSM? Limited information for them. Benji trapped in a difficult spot to get out of. An easy pinch for TSM if they decide to prioritize the bathroom for Achieved. Just dancing around the corner. Benji sees one, engages again, but he loses the gunfight to Gasher. Tough go of it for Benji and plenty of time for TSM to get the disable. Meaning TSM take the first half 4-2.
They do. A lot of people have been asking my opinion, like Gasher at TSM and Snake on TSM. I always said, like, Snake, like most other people, I feel like there's a lot of confidence and like he will be a formidable player. At the very least, there's a good chance for it. I wasn't sold on Gasher, but I also said I want to see him play first before I fully judge him. And so far in these first 6 rounds, I will say Gasher is impressing me with his decision making on the server, on the map, and how he approaches these fights. Not overswinging, not being unnecessarily aggressive. He's taking his time, making the right decisions.
All right, so that's the first half in the books. Let's go through as we do the tale of the tapes for those first 6 rounds. Obviously, you will notice, first and foremost, that there have only been about 1 death that's occurred for these players in the server. That's because there was a rehost after the 5th round. It means that, well, we're not going to have accurate statistics. Either way, the bomb sites that were played, all 4 bomb sites showed up. Bunks showed up twice, Throne showed up twice, Office just once, Lab showed up once. In terms of the defenders, obviously they took it 4-2. TSM only had a single round where they got the opening pick and held that advantage. And that was the final round that we just witnessed on that first half. Other than that, there were 3 trades to start off the round, and then Mirage got the opening pick twice.
Yeah, I agree with those numbers. I have the same thing here. Good stuff. TSM, however, doing something a bit different. They're bringing the Dokkaebi, which, of course, Mirage did 1 round themselves as well, but that's not what I want to talk about the most here. They're bringing a double Heart Breacher situation, both the Thermite and the Ace. If TSM can establish enough map control, aka clear out all these roamers from Mirage, they can breach basically every single wall towards the bomb side, because they have 4 grenades and 2 Heart Breachers that can definitely stop Mo on the Bandit to try and trick those walls. But that's a talk for about a minute and a half from now. We need to clear out these roamers successfully without losing these valuable members, because if anyone from TSM dies, you're not losing Heart Breach, you're losing grenades, or you're losing your smoke grenades. So every single member is so valuable. Who's going to actually do the entry job right now? Well, our eyes are on Snake. He was picked up as an entry. He said in the player interview before the game that he is the best entry player in Tier 2/Tier 3 Rainbow Six Siege in North America, at least. He's got to prove it right now by doing a good job on that exact role. Mirage, they've just kind of ran away, actually. Good job entering.
A couple changes that we see to the meta of this theme park defense for the very first attempt from Mirage. They do a bunch of damage to Bolo. Let's save our thoughts for maybe farther on down the line. Kaid not in play. Instead, Bandit being brought. And the Bandit tricking of old doesn't seem to be anywhere near as popular as it used to be for a number of reasons. Teams like to invest fewer resources being stuck on the main wall. Additionally, Maverick made Bandit tricking extremely challenging on a lot of bomb sites. So, obviously, being able to throw those Kaid Electroclaws into tricky spots, instead of just a Bandit battery being stuck on the bottom panel, can make a big difference for the defenders. I do like that for TSM, they have brought back up Hard Breach here. That was something that caused problems for Mirage in the previous first half. But right now, there hasn't been a lot of Hard Breach happening. One of those Selma charges tossed out from Merc, but the focus seems to be on just the exterior of the bomb site. Lots of time being wasted right now with TSM maybe getting into position, but not exactly seeing where they're going other than Achieve doing some work above. Merc, the first casualty, Kento. The kill for Mirage with 30 seconds left, 9 players still in the lobby.
Time is going to be an issue for TSM. They have yet to breach a wall. Sure, Snake finds the kills at Benji as well, 4v4, but they have no time to get rid of the bandit charges and find the wall too, so they gotta find the kills and Achieve doing just that.
Kento's eyes somewhere else because the sledge was clear as day above him and Achieved punishing the 1 player from Mirage, now giving TSM the advantage. The clock very much not on the side of TSM, so Mirage needs to take the engagement right directly to the Mo. He's got a lineup. Look at what's going in. 1 kill, 2 kill, a third is there as well. Mo out-dueled by Achieved, who has to hop on the diffuser. Can Melted save the day? Snake watching in this direction, and there it is. The newest member, or one of the 2 newest members from TSM, making it count, stretching their lead, and the very first attack for TSM goes in their favor.
What a steal of a round, what a heist that was. It's basically like 40 seconds left. It's a 4 versus 5 in favor of Mirage. Everything's against TSM. They have nades, they have smokes, they have fire streams, they don't have any walls opened up. They have no real vertical control on the bomb site either. No one's watching it. Achieved finds a kill. Snake found one right before that. Kento struggled inside this maintenance position. And then TSM said, smoke the door, run in through this door. And you see this, there's no holes in this soft wall between the Oryx and Mo on the Bandits. There's no real crossfire being established. That singular smoke grenade that blocked the double door pathway that the final kill that just occurred.
In the 3 rounds since. And I mean, that's the problem when you say things with such a small sample size, Nick. It's, you know, you look at the results today and you think, okay, great, you know, Parabellum's going to be the best team in the league. Look at how decisively they won their game against OXG, a team that consistently represents North America in the top 4. There's no way to make that prediction and actually be able to stick to it after 1 game. We won't really get a good lay of the land until about the 4th or 5th game in the stage, and we're just a couple weeks away from that.
No, I think you're absolutely correct. And the same thing, like, also maps are different, right? Like, right now we're playing Theme Park, but how do these teams grab on a Clubhouse or Oregon? So there are so many different factors that play into this. And of course, consistency is what I would argue is the most valuable skill of all. To consistently play at the highest level successfully at Rainbow Six Siege is much more valuable than occasionally playing really good Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah. Early chances for Mirage looking like that's on the menu, especially this peek by Kento on Arcade Window. Bolo's in the proximity, but then decides, or in the vicinity, but then decides, nope, he'll go elsewhere. Again, you might be a little bit surprised to see how many suppressors are showing up, and that's because Suppressor's got a pretty big buff in the most recent patch.
Yep, so silencers or suppressors used to make you do 15% less damage per bullet. That's gone. You do the same damage as any other attachment or no attachment. You do have a little bit more recoil, but that's about it. And at this level of play, we can handle most recoil, I would say.
Some players.
Some players. We saw Hyper today have a bit of a whip.
Some difficulties.
It happens sometimes. Of course, most importantly, it's an adjustment period, right?
Yeah.
Recoils are changed, you can now play suppressors, all these things. Once you get accustomed to it, it's gonna be okay.
Dexter knows, has a premonition maybe, that there's one over by security, and he fires away, hoping for a pre-fire. As these players love their jiggle peaks, but he's not finding anything just yet. Losing the deployable shield, gadgetry tossed his way. This could be a position for Dexter to die off of. Mo has the cross, long range, and he's used all of his toxic babes with still half of the round to go. Not ideal timing, but if you're Mirage, you're hoping that that utility that you're disposing of right now is being done to help the anchors on the bomb site. Benji, the first pick, it's on to Merc. Merc has been a hot hand for TSM. And very similar to what we saw at a Mirage this time around, TSM is running a single heart breacher. And that's the first casualty for TSM. A damning position to be in on this Bunk's bomb site.
And it is. I mean, Dexter somehow still alive despite being stuck in this position the entirety of the round, but he gets the kill and he gets out. They do, of course, have his spare reinforcements who want to use it, but I don't think they're safe enough to do so. And TSM, they gotta try and hold on and hope that Mirage will swing them, because right now Mirage can do absolutely nothing but stay in their corners, and they should be a-okay. TSM, they gotta make the first move.
The timeout seemingly working out well to settle Mirage down and make them far more comfortable here. There's a missed opportunity just a couple seconds ago onto Dexter, who got away freely. TSM have cleared out this office and initiation part of the map where you'll oftentimes see a bomb site, but those 2 bombs are instead nestled in bunks and daycare. So Mirage don't need to necessarily watch the other portion of the map. They just need to focus on the bomb site now. TSM wounded. Only 3 players to all 5 for Mirage. And the timer continues to tick away. There's Snake down for the count, and it's a flawless round for TSM. Mid-sentence, the final 3 players for TSM walk to their demise.
Indeed, a flawless round. Mirage come on top. And Merc falling early on the ace, I don't think that's necessarily like a massive issue for TSM, because it's not like those walls being opened up would have changed a whole lot, but it comes down to trading efficiently and getting those kills. And Dexter was stuck in a position that TSM was very much aware about very early on. They got the shield cleared, they droned him, and they had 2 members challenging security. Dexter somehow gets just allowed to remain alive in that position despite TSM bringing the nades, that flashbangs, and Dexter even gets a kill, then gets away scot-free, and then gets back towards the bomb site. That's one of those positions where if you find somebody isolated, try and eliminate that member, try and get the advantage, or choose something else. TSM kind of played the middle ground, found nothing for it, and therefore it's a Mirage W on the board. They're going to go downstairs once again to that Armory Throne defense. They got the hatch opened up so they can play more aggressively above and fall back quicker towards the bomb site if TSM were to go for a rush. Last time TSM, they brought double hard breach, yet they didn't open up a single wall. This time they are bringing a singular hard breach, and also with the assistance of Jackal. So TSM clearly favoring the roam clear here, recognizing that, yes, Mirage are gonna be aggressive, we gotta try and peel them off the map, hopefully get a kill or two, and then make that bomb site attack a little bit easier. And Dexter, with an early try of a spawn peek, does a bit of damage towards Bolo, but no kill.
Both of these teams have liked to take the fight to the attackers on defense, once again going off of a very hyper-aggressive style of defense that has been quite popular, actually, since I would argue W7M popularized it many stages ago, playing offense on defense.
Yep. I mean, with the previous meta as well,
Okay, Snake hops right into the bathroom, guns down Benji. A second could have been found, but just like that, Snake is in and Snake is out. Merc a kill on Mo, leaving TSM in a bigger advantage than he found them on that first pick onto Benji. 5v3, 1 minute off the clock.
That right there is basically what we call like phantom pressure in competitive play, where you're just opening up a door and a window and a hatch everywhere across the map, and as a defender you're spread so thin, you have no idea where the actual pressure of players are coming from, and that allows Snake and Merc just jump in the window, get 1 kill each, and get a bit of map control as well. But again, phantom pressure. Where are they attacking from? Where are they? Drones everywhere, windows open everywhere. Dexter under so much pressure right now.
Well, there's another to fall. Kento down for the count. TSM can taste match point at this moment. But Melted's got a nice shot onto Merc, denying a flawless round for TSM, as TSM had been at the wrong side of the flawless previously. More work to be done for Mirage to try and narrow these numbers. Thankfully for the defenders, you've got time. The attackers, though, it definitely benefits more. Dexter finished off. Melted in a 1v4. Again, the birthday boy himself. He's plagued by those tech issues earlier on as he settled the nerves down. Can he capitalize off of a couple isolated picks? Sees one on top of Dragon, but his position's been given away, and he knows that there's no way to get out from his current spot behind the throne. He loses some of the wall, and Split as well will have a player focusing on that. Before they rotate around, Diffuser going down in a position that Melted just simply can't get to. Instead, there's 2 sets of eyes, all looking in the same direction. And Melted will have to contend with the timer. How many can he pick off before being rightfully dropped? The answer, 0. Bolo himself, the final kill, and it pushes TSM to match point.
That round was basically 5 roamers from the defenders against the 5 roam clearers from the attack. I mean, TSM obviously did not realize this, but there was no one from Mirage on the bomb side for a full minute in the midst of that round, up until Oryx, of course, got back towards the bomb side. And TSM honestly didn't quite need to know that, because they had so much map control early on from both Merc and Snake, finding those kills each, that allowed them to just kind of keep up the pace, keep droning it, keep figuring out where is Dexter, where is Benji, then isolate those members, and they did just that, and they found those kills, and that's forced us onto match point now. Mirage backs against the wall, are going downstairs into the lab bomb site, where they bring up the castle and the Frost to try and help the bomb site in case a rush comes out, while still enabling themselves to be offensive on the roam game by bringing secondary shotgun castle, secondary shotgun alibi, and bringing a primary shotgun and smoke. I mean, we can even go all the way. They even got a Frost secondary shotgun. A lot of rotates, a lot of verticality, a lot of dynamic play on this bomb site that really allows you to shape it in however way you choose.
Which Challenger League rookies do you prefer? Snake and Gasher or Dexter and Mo Hesse? Well, the question is TSM. TSM wins every poll until we subverted our expectations that one time. And we said, who do you think is going to lose?
Yeah.
And then the TSM fans still voted for TSM. Bravo.
They're like, we're not going to lose this vote, even though they kind of lost it by voting.
A Twitter
That's
poll.
a tricky one.
You want to know how to throw TSM fans off their stride. It's a Twitter poll. But either way, there goes one of the Goyo canisters that was on top, or rather, that goes one of the castle barricades. That confused me for a second there. I thought
so
it's the new dog logo, right?
The castle elite animation has this like red dog logo on it.
Yes, it looked like a Goyo canister. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I don't see a Goyo, so what was that? Yes, Castle Elite is in the game now, by the way. You can go purchase it if you so choose. Trip me up for just a second. I'd seen it before, but it never really like clued in. Oh my goodness, what a shot by Merc. The master of the good night himself takes out Dexter.
Merc is same old, because Merc is either the winning factor of TSM early on or the losing factor. Now, he gets in all the opening kills on both aspects of it, or both sides of it, rather. So is Kento right now under fire, so is Mo, and TSM fighting all fronts. Melted with bad timing with a canister in his hand, but gets saved by the shield. He stays alive for now.
Melted still in this position by the cafe door. A shield that saved him persisting. 2 ADSs that have now regenerated their charges and can easily catch anything thrown or shot their way. Kento for backup, not too far off. Very limited HP for him, though, so a single bullet from just about any gun that TSM carries will be enough to put him in the grave. Clock continues to work away against TSM. They need to be quicker to these punches. They've got 3 rounds in order to not go into overtime. Gasher on the hunt. Here's the logic bomb goes off. Kento and Melted fall. And suddenly Mirage are just being out-dueled all over the place. Benji, the next one, up too many angles. So he decides to get out of his position. Seeking some shelter inside of this trophy armory bomb site. Down goes Benji. And could it be a flawless round to end this matchup? Mo, one of the 2 new players from Mirage, will need to keep his team in it, or else TSM takes all of the glory for themselves. He's got some spam marks, no flawless to be done. Mo takes down at least 1 in the process, and then will fire blindly and helplessly through the ground before it's Snake, TSM's own